My first time making a student making a slideshow with my voice. So let's see how this goes. All right, we are going to learn about negative and positive shape or space. So let's talk about that. So space is the distance or areas around, between, or within an object. If you look at your hand, look around your hand, all that space between your fingers, that is negative space. The hand itself is positive space. So we can see here, let me bring my cursor. This is the still life right there, and then around the still life, right here, all around it is negative space. So you can see that here. So in this picture, the negative space is black. Negative space does not have to be black, but if you've taken a drawing class, usually in those drawing classes, when you're drawing negative space, you are coloring that space black. Here is one of those drawings that you can see. We are not going to do a negative space drawing, but in drawing you would. So here is the white areas. That is the positive space. That is the actual object that we're looking at. Another word for this is the figure. This is the figure. The background right here, that is the negative space. Another word for that is the ground. All right, if you look here, the artists have played with negative and positive space. So the figure here is positive and the background is negative. Or the figure is the figure and the background is the ground. If you look, her face and chest are the same color as the background. So that kind of tricks with her eye. It looks like this is almost like it's negative space. We know it's not negative space, but it plays with our eyes. This is called isolation and integration. So isolation is when you can always tell for sure what is negative and what is positive. Integration is when those two things merge together a little bit and there's a blurring. Strong compositions will create tension between the negative and positive shapes. All right, here we go. So let's look at that. So over here, this is isolation. This is integration. So on this side, it's hard to tell what is positive and negative. Is this positive or is this negative? Not exactly sure. We can see in these Seurat drawings the same thing. So we know the figure is positive space and the background is negative space, but there are areas like the fishing pole, the ground, the fading of the face, where it's hard to tell where the edge of those are. Same for over here. Over here is the negative space back here, and here, positive space, figure, ground. Right here, it blends into each other. This is a really great example of that. It's almost impossible to tell what is what. Is the white negative space? In a lot of places, yes, but in some areas, it looks like it's a positive space. The ground is probably positive space, but it could also be negative space. So just because it's black doesn't mean it's one. It doesn't mean it's negative space or positive space. They're all mixed in together. It's integrated. We are not going to make an integrated image because I want to make sure that you understand what negative and positive space is. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take 5 photos with your phone that show negative and positive space. And it should be very clear what is negative space and what is positive space. You are going to convert these images into black and white. You can do this on your phone. If you're not sure how, you can let me know. Maybe Google it first, then let me know. Make sure that your photos have good composition. So I know we just talked about how it's important to integrate in good composition, but for this image, I want to show good negative or clear negative and positive space. So the photos should, sorry, the the way you make good composition is that your eye is moving all around the image, and that you have unity and variety. So let's look at some examples. You're going to post your image on Canvas by 2:50 on Tuesday the 24th. All right, so let's look at some examples. Here's one. So I know this is negative, and I know the chair here is positive. Here's another one, a bike. We know all of this is positive, and then behind there is negative. Same for here. This is the abacus. Behind there is negative, and then the beads are positive. Some of my paintbrushes, all those positive, and then that background is negative. And then some wires, same thing. Wires, positive, background, negative. So I want you to take 5 photos and post them. And from there, hopefully we're going to do another project with these photos. But I might move on to the next project. We will see, depending on how much time I think we will have to be teaching online. All right, so 5 photos. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening. Hope you're safe out there.